Hey guys, it's Marwan Radi. Hey, welcome to Mental Health Mondays. I thought we'd incorporate something more mental health into my channel and talk about particular disorders such as today, which the topic is depression. I want to get into this topic and outline the symptoms, outline the risk factors. Yes, I know I literally wear this top every single other day. I just so happen to wear it when I film. It's quite annoying, but I promise you I do have more clothes. We're going to get into depression. Depression is a major clinical disorder that affects millions and millions of people regardless of age. It can affect how you think, it can affect how you act. It is a disorder that kind of just takes over without you knowing, and it is a mental illness. It is a form of illness, and just because it's not a physical illness does not mean that you should not understand the philosophy of what depression actually is. So I want to get straight into and outline the symptoms. The symptoms of depression, there are several. Your fatigue, you don't want to get out of bed, you have a low mood when you wake up, your appetite completely changes, these thoughts of death or suicide, or it's just very difficult for you to think, to concentrate, or to make planned motives throughout your day. There's loss of energy, you just feel guilty, this sense of worthlessness that just takes over from nowhere. These are the main 4 to 10 symptoms that really just kind of take over. You're tired, you're guilty, you feel upset, you're worthlessness, you don't want to get out of bed. It's just this whole general atmosphere, this cloud of a low mood that just really just takes over you and just wraps itself around you. You're trapped. This is obviously a main key asset to my degree and what I learned about, which was clinical psychology and cognitive neuroscience, and I am aware of people who do follow me and do comment that they also have studied or are studying mental health. So that's why I thought it would be quite cool just to incorporate this mental health, kind of topics into one day of the week, so we can just outline a disorder, or not even a disorder, just a topic that just could be in relation to mental health that can be incorporated as well. And in terms of risk factors, there are plenty of risk factors that we have, whether it be your personality, whether it be your environment, whether it be your genes and that makeup and what it can do to you. For example, your personality is that you could naturally just have a low self-esteem. You naturally just can be very shy, very quiet, and these little factors in your personality can exacerbate you getting depression. There's a more higher likeliness of you getting depression because you already fit the traits that could lead to it. Then you also have your genes. There could be a long history in your genetic makeup of people who are depressed, people who are anxious, people who have so forth, other mental disorders, or just been very angry, just be passed down, and therefore you are more susceptible to gain that disorder. You then have your environment. You may literally have been through horrific moments in life, whether it be when you were young, when you were growing older, and these events could have repeated, and could be from all different directions. Could be from school, could be from home, could be from work, could be from random people, could be from life events, traumatic events, etc. And these can lead to forms of depression as well. So you have different risk factors that could lead to it. And what I feel like we need to make a distinguish between is that depression and bereavement are two different motives. They are two different emotions within the body, two different entities in general. Bereavement is something that naturally occurs. You need to grieve over people who have passed, or over a sad situation. You need to get that out of you. It's a normal, humane response that one needs to happen. But I feel like depression is a bit different to that. It's more of a repetitive, long, arduous, and strenuous cycle. Plenty of different symptoms that do take over. You have a triad of negative feelings. You do not want to do anything. You do not want to get out of bed. Your entire body and just invests itself into the mindset and just really you lose control, and next thing you know, you're just wrapped up in bed and you don't want to get out. So I feel like depression is a disorder that a lot of people are unfortunately going through, more so now than ever. But I also feel like a lot of people take the word very lightly, and I feel like they're very quick to just tweet, I'm going through this, I'm going through that, I'm depressed. I'm like, you haven't seen a psychiatrist, psychologist, they haven't diagnosed that with you. Let's just calm down. You could just be sad about a breakup, doesn't mean you're immediately depressed. So I feel like some people marginalize the actual feelings of what actually people go through when they're depressed and so forth. So I feel like that in itself kind of damages the depth of the depression. And I've even seen people on Twitter who say mental health doesn't exist, it's nonsense, get up and be happy. And I'm like, listen, I don't have time for nonsense, because clearly you have not read clinical studies and literature. You're just being an absolute fool. In terms of treatment for depression, you have medications such as antidepressants. These have good and bad points. Obviously the bad point is that it can lead to an addiction. You can keep yourself on these, and the good parts, that's all to do with the brain chemistry, whether it's to do with your serotonin, whether it's to do with norepinephrine, etc., etc. All these neurochemicals in the brain, these neurotransmitters, and it helps to increase certain levels and lower certain levels, and this can therefore alternate forms of thinking, alternate your forms of depression and so forth, can increase it, can decrease it, and doctors would normally recommend it for a certain amount of time. Counseling, CBT, which I feel like from what I've learned is also a very effective therapy for to communicate, because communication is very healthy, whether it's friendships, whether it's relationships, whether it's just people in general. Communication can provide an immediate form of effective relief for the one person who it feels like they're drowning, and I just feel like CBT can be a very effective form of therapy, where you sit with a particular person, you talk to them, you understand what's gone wrong, through forms of thinking, you are able to think for yourself. That's what the therapist would do for you. He would allow you to think for yourself in that situation, for what you might have done wrong, what might have happened, how things could be better, focus on the positives, a healthy structure to discuss certain problems. And you also have ECT, electroconvulsive therapy, a therapy that really is kind of frowned upon when you put nodes between your temples right here, and you electrocute yourself. Well, obviously a doctor's with you, and many have seen that in movies and so forth, and it hasn't really had a good outlook in terms of a form of a treatment, so that is also another option that people can take. So that was just my small little brief overview of what depression is, what can happen with it, and the stigma of depression as well, because when you hear that people have depression, people really feel a certain way. They feel like this person's not okay, he's a bit of a danger, what we're going to do, I'm scared for him. People don't actually understand what mental health is, that it's mental illnesses are just as important as physical illnesses, and that the stigmatism of mental health needs to just hopefully be reduced and be thought of in a different, complete way in itself. And I thought I'd just incorporate this into my channel, do Mental Health Monday, talk about a particular topic, or just a typical, and it doesn't have to be a disorder every week, it could be just a topic to bring into discussion for us to talk about in the comment box below. So comment down, let me know what you guys think of these videos, let me know what you think of the particular idea of depression, the whole idea of people, social media, are they depleting the value of depression and so forth by using the word so loosely, and let me know what you guys think. Also, if you guys have any questions, ask me in relation to anything you feel like you might be going through, or anything you feel like you need any advice. I'm thinking of doing like an Ask Murad kind of video in the future, perhaps, because a lot of people are doing it themselves, I've seen, and it can be quite helpful for people. It could be related to mental health, it could be related to problems, it could be related to etc, etc. So let me know. My email will be in the description box below. I probably will create an anonymous form somewhere along the lines, because I think that might be easier for you guys, and I'll just put that in the description box below. So if you guys have any questions, then definitely hit me up in those forms and ask me. I would happily oblige in a video and try to help you to the best of my needs, because everybody does say I do give good advice and I do good reviews and so forth. So maybe I can try to help particular people who have taken the time to subscribe to me, which I'm very grateful for. But thank you guys for watching. Hit me up on my Instagram, my website, let me know what you guys think of these videos. Thank you guys, have a great week, make a short productive, and I will definitely catch you guys soon.